What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back, and we're back with Danny Farke's press conference reaction and also some other bits from last night's game as well, some additional thoughts from the game. And just to put into context what I was talking about yesterday in terms of it being a good point, but it could have been more, one of those. But all in all, good point yesterday, but we've got to move on now to the Sunderland game, and it's important that we try and get a win there. Listen, we'll do the preview for the Sunderland game tomorrow. That will be tomorrow. All today is about team news and just follow-ups from last night. And before I continue, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop your comments below. And listen, thank you to William Morrison for the super thanks on the last video. William is also a member of the channel. And listen, shout out to all my members. If you want to become a member of the channel, the link is in the description or is next to the subscribe button called join. And Ina here saying afternoon. Ina, afternoon to you. And shout out to everyone that will be joining or will be watching the replay. So yeah, I mean, listen, last night, for me, there was a lot of good points. It's obviously you want to win every game, but it's not possible. We're not going to go invincible and unbeaten all season and everything else like that. But there was a lot of positives from yesterday, but these things are going to have to turn around quickly in terms of the team news we've had today. And it just makes you think, if we just kept on Mr. Ramazani or someone like that, Nanto, and I'll go into Daniel Farke's comments in regards to this, I do think we would have won the game. And listen, you can never say that would have happened. There's no saying that would have happened. Maybe we would have got, sucker punch on the counter and then lose the game 2-1. Who knows? It's all hypothetical. But I just feel with the way that we was controlling the second half in particular, they were on the back foot. We had just come off having a real good chance of an opening in terms of Bogle, who shot it over when Joseph was free, which they've spoken about. And it just felt like we was on the front foot there. And then the double sub just killed us. It just killed us. And I want to point out in something in Farke's favor in terms of the subs, but yeah, the double sub was just not good. And I agree with a lot of the comments I got yesterday in terms of it just needing to be probably Aronson off, bring on Peru, keep Joseph up there. Because listen, as much as people keep talking about Joseph, once he went off, that press disappeared. The pressing from the front, the tracking back and trying to start moves from the front disappeared. It went away. We was vulnerable for the last 20 minutes of yesterday's game, which is why I'm more than happy with a point yesterday, given the circumstances, and especially with Gurev going off early in the game too. So, there was plus points in there. There's things that we could learn from. But I also think as well that this is an issue in terms of the bench. If we have a Dan James or Solomon, who we'll speak about as well, fit and raring to go off the bench, then our substitutions look way different. We're not having to, bring on Gelhardt, maybe not even have to bring on Bamford. We can possibly, do with more impactful substitutions. And that's the thing that's killed us. And that's why when people say to me about my transfer window rating, not to go back onto that, but this is the reasons why, because it was a good window. But I always think, and this is to my detriment, in YouTube football world, I think of the future and I think of, but what if this happens? What if this happens here? What if someone's not available for this game? And that's what that's what's coming to fruition now. Run of bad luck in terms of Ampadu going out and then Gruev going out, who play the same position. You can't plan for those things. But in terms of the wingers, we've got two out. We've got Dan James and Solomon out. And let's face it, at this level, they are huge, huge components to the team. And they're just not available at this moment in time. Hopefully, after the international break, we'll have some good news there. I really do hope so. But yeah, you can see why when the depth goes out of this team, we are, a little bit threadbare in terms of things. Sean saying this really does make the window look like a failure. It's one of these things, Sean, where this is when I say to people who give 8s and 9s and stuff, to say, but if you take out a couple more players and replace them with more capable players, then I can understand your rating. But when you've still got and relying on someone like Patrick Bamford to come off the bench, and even at this stage now, Joe Gelhardt, who at this club must be completely bereft of all confidence, I feel like he needs a fresh start somewhere else. When you're relying on these kind of players, and even to a point, Sam Byram being your, backup, fullback on either flank at this point, it does say that, yeah, it can be good enough, but only if all the main components stay fit and healthy. And this is what we're finding out right now. But look, good point in isolation, but we've got to get something against Sunderland. Otherwise, that's 1 point in 6. And I judge things as we're going for a top 2 spot, people. That's how I judge it right now, and you've got to get points out of these games. You've got to not lose these games, but we've drawn this one. Let's try and get 3 points, Friday, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. And Gavin saying 1,000 right, 1,000% right. Totally agree. Yeah, love that. Love that. Listen, if you don't agree as well, please put it in the comments below. Just make it eligible and sensible so I can understand it. You know what I mean? Uh, Gavin saying Gelhart on too high wages to move him on is League One. Yeah, I don't think his wages are that much. I mean, listen, I don't pocket watch anyway, Gavin. You know that, but I don't think his wages are that high. And I'm not even saying they needed to sell him. I just truly believe that if we had gotten a, a Gus Harmer in the team, that he would have been out the door because he's not needed, is he? He's not needed. He's not really trusted by Farke in truth. So yeah, but look, this is where we are right now. And look, in terms of Daniel Farke talking about that yesterday, he did give an explanation in terms of subbing Ramazani and Nonto, and who, by the way, Nonto, exceptional performance yet again yesterday. Lovely assist for Ramazani's goal. But it was a difficult decision. There's 3 games in 6 days, and Largi is making his first steps. Plan was for 60 minutes, but wanted to use him more after he scored. Nonto, you could feel at 75 minutes was finding it difficult to defend. We need all players available at the moment. Good to give Bamford his first minutes in a while. Desperately need him now, which is a horrible sentence to even hear. I left them on longer than I planned. So, you know, in terms of that, I mean, that does show you. I mean, obviously, all managers have a plan in terms of substitutes, but the game was like the momentum was with us, and I do think if they stayed on maybe 5 more minutes, we get the second goal. Then you can possibly make a couple of subs. Maybe you don't need to bring on both Peru and Bamford. It's just we just don't need to see that again, people. I think that I think we've all had enough of seeing that, right? No one wants to see Peru and Bamford up front again. That was tough. That was tough sledding, man. Can't lie. Really tough to watch that happening in real time. And shout out to someone with the joke yesterday. Good bit of satire. Did anyone else stream Buffer when Peru and Bamford came on? I appreciate that kind of humor, but yeah, it just wasn't good. The subs were wrong in this one, and he's got some right in previous games. So, but when you give him praise, you can accept criticism as well. That's the job of a very well paid football manager at one of the biggest clubs in England. So you have to accept that. What we saying here? Okay, right. Okay, no problem. Max H here saying not a big fan of sorry, not a big fan of pre-planned subs. You can't predict a game. Yeah, I mean there are some instances, Max, where managers will use it. Like take Bamford, perfect example actually, because he's been out for so long. If a game is looking like it's maybe in our favor, maybe if we're winning the game, he possibly gets on a bit earlier, as he was saying there. But as it was getting later and it was 1-1, and you could see that the momentum was with us, he wanted to keep on the main players for a bit longer. So what these managers will do sometimes, especially with a player like Bamford, using him as the example, is get him match fit, give him 30 minutes, give him 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get him back up to speed, but it's in order to get him match fit again. So I do understand pre-plan put subs at certain stages, but yesterday it didn't need it. It didn't need it. And this isn't one of these things where people say, "Oh, well, you call him to make subs. He makes subs. Now you're not happy." That's stupid thinking. You call it for the situation that you're in, and it is as simple as that. Harry saying, Harry the Goon, shout out to you, man. When Bamford came on, I started watching the game. Tremendous. Wow. Michael here saying Peru's lack of ability, severely unsure when he came on. Yeah, but look, I've said it before with Peru. He's not, a flex. He's not an athlete. He's not. Please don't kill me for this, but he's more in the Burkamp mold. Okay, I'm not saying he's got the ability of Burkamp. I'm just saying in terms of Burkamp, he was never the quickest, never the most agile, but his brain was like, that's where you can't compare the two. His brain was 10 steps ahead of everyone, but he was never the most athletic, and not every player is like that. But when you bring on him and Bamford to go up front, yeah, forget about it, man. It's tough sledding. And listen, to be fair to both of those two, and it goes to the Joseph point that I made yesterday as well. We don't swing the ball in the box enough for those kind of strikers anyway. So we don't play that kind of football to suit two big lumps like that up front. We don't do it. We don't put in loads of crosses in the box. We try and find that perfect opening. And those two, Joe maybe can do it at certain points, depending on if he's got the run of his marker. But Bamford isn't going to run off anyone's shoulder at this stage now. So yeah, it was tough to watch the last 20 minutes, and I'm just glad we did get out there with a point altogether. Let me saying here. So yeah, what we got? Yeah, and just I think I pointed this out at the start, but yeah, big up to Largy. 2 goals, 1 assist. I think it's the first time since Robbie Keane back in the day as opened with his first 3 starts. So shout out to Largy and long may it continue. Daniel Farke was asked today about free agents in terms of this, because this has come up as well. People have mentioned this in the chat. Is there any chance of Leeds signing free agents? And Danny Farker basically said no. He doesn't like, we're in October now, and if anyone's a free agent, it means they're not completely match fit. They'll need time to get up to speed. Then once the players that are fit again, get back into the lineup, then those players will be unhappy. He just said it's not an ideal thing for Leeds United to look at. Now, that doesn't mean that they're never going to do it. If we get a couple more injuries, then there's always a chance of that. But he's saying ideally he doesn't like to do it. So we probably won't be going into the free agent market, people. Yeah, I mean, the comparison was in terms of their athleticism, Matt. Come on, man. Be sensible. Be sensible. Uh, Nigel saying the only thing Farker can confirm is I'm gone. Oh, geez. Jesus. Okay. But look, in terms of that, yeah, so don't look out for any free agents. If there's any rumors or anything about, they're probably not true in that essence, unless they're trying to keep something under wraps and then we get presented a free agent in, during the international break. I wouldn't count on it happening. He was also asked about Charlie Crew, and I mean, I don't know what the report was expecting him to say here, but he just said about Charlie Crew that yes, he is ready if he's needed. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking he was going to say, like, oh, nah, he's been training with the first team, but we don't want to use him. He's not going to come out and say that. But we also kind of heard this last year with Charlie Creswell and a couple of other players when they were asked about. So it's more about the actions when it comes to that stuff with Daniel Farker. And I do think at some point Charlie Crew will be used. It's very unlikely that Rothwell and Tanaka, especially in both of their states, Rothwell was even speaking yesterday about he's had to be patient. They're still getting up to speed themselves, and it's a bit worrying for me that we've got so many players that are trying to get up to speed. I'm not gonna lie about that. I think that he was asked about Largy Ramazani. Is he ready to keep on starting? He should be. These players were playing football before. It's not like they were all on the beach until Leeds United signed them. These players were playing preseason games. Yes, it's different systems, different tempos. I get that, but they should still be fit. And we even saw with Tanaka yesterday, as 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 good not good as well as he played, he started to tire towards the end of the game. You know what I mean? So we need to get these guys' fitness up to speed in terms of them lasting the 90 minutes. It's vital. Um, there was a lot of praise on Rothwell and Tanaka yesterday. I'm going to reserve that until something like really great happens with the players, or really good happens, because yeah, they were steady performances. They were good to a certain point, but I feel like we could have got more, and we still haven't got a goal from a set piece. Still not got a goal from a central midfielder. I just don't want to lavish too much on the central midfielders for pretty much, dare I say, doing the bare minimum in midfield. And I'm not saying that they played badly, not at all, but I still think that there's more that we can get from our central midfielders. And listen, maybe with an avenue opening up with Ampadu's injury and possibly Gruev, maybe we'll see a little bit more comfort from Rothwell and Tanaka as they get more up to speed and get an understanding as they play together. But yeah, I thought that a few of the comments were a bit overblown when it came to their performances yesterday, because nothing really stood out for me. And maybe I'm alone in here. Maybe someone else can tell me what else was really good with the two players. But I want more. I want more from us, from central midfielders. It's not too much to ask for a straight assist from a set piece. It's not too much to ask for a goal once in a while, or even a pre-assist. You know me, I don't care about it being the assist, but I think we can get a little bit more. Seasiders TV, shout out to you for becoming a member of the channel. Salute to you. Yeah, Ina saying I agree. Yeah, there was just a few comments yesterday where they were, really bigging up Rothwell and Tanaka, and as nice as their performances were, there was nothing that really stood out in my head and went, yeah, I can see that. I can see why people are saying that. Like when Tanaka put that ball over in the previous game, not the Norwich game, the previous one, to Nanto and then to Peru. I can see that, but I didn't see that yesterday. I felt it was more like a steady Eddie kind of performances, and I think we're going to need a little bit more than that. But listen, it's horses for courses. That was an away game against Norwich, who pretty much had quite a bit of the game, more than we possibly would have liked. So yeah, we'll see how they get on in another tough arena actually at Sunderland. Yeah, Matt C here saying makes me laugh. Players being fatigued playing 3 games in 6 days. In '92, Leeds played roughly 50 games with a squad of 14. Yeah, I mean, listen, I know times change and everything in terms of that, Matt. But yeah, I'm kind of with you with that. We're talking about in terms of Ramazani is in particular, and even Nanto. We're talking about early 20s. These players aren't 37, coming to the tail end of their career. They're young guys who have got a lot in the tank, whether that's endeavor, energy. I was about to say something crazy there, but they've got a lot in the tank in terms of being young, having that youthful stuff in them. And I feel like just taking them off earlier is listen, if they stayed on 5 or 10 minutes more, would they and we get a winner, wouldn't that be better than what happened yesterday and just coming out with a point and possibly nothing against Sunderland Friday? Listen, we shall see, right? We shall see. Listen, what's Aina saying here? Tanaka was fine and Ruffwell grew into it, but his free kick was bad. Lost the ball too many times and had some terrible passes. Yeah, yeah, that's something that some people were saying in terms of Ruffwell more so, that his passing was good, but I don't remember it. And if I don't remember it, it means that nothing really stood out for me in terms of that. But look, hopefully now he will get a run of starts, and this could be one of the reasons why, in terms of Ilya Gurev, we still don't have an update on him. He's going for a scan tonight, as we are now, 5 o'clock. So he's probably already had it. I really hope that we get some good news with this. We didn't get it with Ethan Ampadu. That's bad news in terms of that, and you're finding that out right now, people. We cannot lose Gurev as well. That's far too much. And again, this is me again. I'm not even looking at Sunderland. I'm looking at after the international break. And the reason why I'm looking at that is because our first game back is a massive game. I mean, it's huge. It's Leeds United, Sheffield United. Never mind the fact that Sheffield United squad team is good, unbeaten before they play their game tonight, which I think they probably will remain unbeaten. They have that extra motivation to beat us. And we're already going to be going into that game kind of weak as it is. We need James back. We need Solomon back. We need these players back in the squad to give us an even better chance of getting 3 points from that game. Otherwise, it will be tough on the return from international break. Really will. But yeah, I mean, in terms of Gurev, let's hope we get some good news, but we won't find that out today. Schmidt could be back in the team, people. Farke says there's been progress on his fitness, but we shall see yet again. But who won't be there is Solomon for a third straight game. And it's disappointing with Solomon because again, he's a game changer at this level. And there's differences to it. His unavailability is a miss. There's other players in the team where if they're unavailable, it's like no one cares. But with him, he is a game changer when he's fit. But this was always the issue. And look, this is not me saying in hindsight. I said this when we first signed him. It's a good signing, but is he going to stay fit? Is he going to stay fit? And right now the answer is no. Overall, it's a no. He's have to. We heard last week that he could be back for the Norwich game. I said that was a pipe dream. I was right with that. And he's not even going to make the game against Sunderland. So hopefully over the international break, he recoups, recovers, and we can get him back because we will need him. We cannot go with just 2 out-and-out wingers. We can't. And even Aronson isn't an out-and-out winger himself. You know what I mean? Okay, let's see. Nidar here saying, oh, sorry, yeah. Nidar saying here, Nonto was good last night, but I'd love to see him run his man and cut back for Joseph a lot more. Joseph needs better service than we've seen so far. Yeah. I mean, listen, Nonto, the perfect one for that, Nidar, was the Ramazani goal. Lovely ball, by the way, by Strack to play it into Nonto. Really, really good stuff from Pascal. But we saw that with Nonto, that pass that just cut the defense, Ramazani with a lovely finish. We do need to see that more for our striker. We do. And this is I'm not going to go into it again with the whole Joseph thing, but someone left a comment there saying, yeah, but he has missed a chance. He missed a 1-on-1 against Burnley. I mean, if you're going to go back to that, then you might as well just give up. Honestly, I mean, if you're going to talk about that, look how many games ago that was. In the game since, though, how many clear cut chances have you seen him take? How many crosses in the box? How many multiple chances has he missed? The service isn't there. It needs to be quicker. It needs to be sharper. And yeah, Nonto's got the ability to run at players in this division. I think he's loving being the main man. I knew he would. I said that. I said that when we sold. Who was the final one to go? Jorginho. I said that Nonto will probably look to stay to be the main man, and he's reveling in it. He really is. Um, Yeah, Max is saying here the only chance I can think of that Mateo has had are the ones he's created himself. Yeah, if he's not getting the chances, I don't know how you can criticize him. I could listen. I could completely understand if he was fluffing every single chance he was getting, but he's not getting the chances to fluff. If we could have a conversation about that, I'm all in. But until we see him getting the service for him to at least miss these shots on target, then there's nothing to speak about. His contributions up until yesterday's game, that was not a good game from Mateo Joseph yesterday. Has been good. His all around play has been good considering the service that he's not getting at this moment in time. But listen, we've had conversations. Maybe he will get that cut back from Bogle in the next game. We shall see. We shall see. Let's have a look here. Ina here saying, I understand that the midfield has to gel, but the overhype bugged me to be honest. Overhype what? I don't know what you mean, Ina, but yeah. Let's have a look here. Hank here saying, why do you think we seem to abandon a crossing strategy? When DJ plays, he swings and crosses, and you think Peru Joseph would do well with that chaos, even if they're just working with knockdowns. It's just the way that we play football. It's manager instruction as well. It can't be anything else. You are the mirror of your manager. And we have a style of play that we like to play, possession based, trying to get through the middle. But as you see in this league, man, some of the easiest chances and the goals that you see are from nothing crosses, a bit of a bobble round in the box, and someone's getting a tap in. That's how it usually is. But yeah, we do need to mix that up, in my opinion. And I think we got it so right in the game previous to Norwich, where both Firpo and Bogle were just bombing forward and providing that kind of service. And we didn't quite see that yesterday, in my opinion. But yeah, listen, in terms of let me just see, was there anything else in regards to the team news? There really isn't anything else. Just in regards to Solomon, please be healthy, man. Get well over the international break. We need him back. The one I'm thinking about as well is DJ, because we heard that he's going to be back after the international break, but call it PTSD. I don't know, call it what you will. I remember hearing this about Pascal Struijk last season, and it didn't happen. So it's one of these things where hopefully DJ is fit and ready to go after the international break, but I have to see it to believe it in this one. Gavin here saying corners now a joke. Yeah, I mean, this is it as well. I mean, Farke said in a few press conferences ago, a set piece goal will come soon. When? When is the answer? Because it feels like we're nowhere closer. And the fact that I didn't even speak about yesterday in general or even think about it now, that's an issue because it almost feels like I'm accepting that we're just bad at set pieces when we shouldn't be. We should be better. We should be better. We shouldn't, no one's saying score on every single set piece, but at least look threatening. At least when the ball bobbles out, when it's cleared, you're on the second ball. We're not even close to that. I'm not sure what we're doing with the set pieces, people. And it is an issue because you are literally depriving yourself of goals, especially in the championship where it's currency. It's currency in every league, by the way. We've seen Arsenal, being one of the best in the country in terms of set pieces, but in the championship, these are bread and butter goals. These are ones where they just bounce around and then you just knock it in. And we're not getting any of those quite from set pieces. So they're just going to have to continue to work on them as much as they can. Russ, goals from a corner now odds of 15,000 to 1. It is an issue though. It really is an issue in terms of the deliveries, people getting on the end of it. It's a big issue for me. But it's one of those where there's so many other things going on right now that I didn't even think about speaking about yesterday, which shows you just how much we've got to work on. Let me just see if there's anything else. No free agents. Sunderland, Ramazani. Yep, got all that. Yep. So that is the news from today's press conference, people. So that is the update. We're going to be back tomorrow with the preview, and we're going to give out preferred lineups and score predictions tomorrow. So tune in for that one. Hit the notification bell if you haven't, so you can tune in and watch me live and interact with me on the live one for the preview. It's going to be a tough game, though, man. But look, we'll speak about that tomorrow. Like, subscribe, drop your comments below on anything discussed. I'll see you in the next one, people. Peace out.